Alright, and welcome back to Dead End Gaming. I'm Dead End Dragon, and today we're gonna jump into this and actually not go on a run. Today what I wanted to do was just kind of like, I'm gonna go in here actually. We're going here. We're gonna go in our room. We're gonna do this in our room. So I thought it would be best. We've been going on for a while, and I do want to continue the series and all that, but it's just I want to tackle other stuff as well, but I still want to tackle this. So what I thought would be the best option is to take an interlude. So we're gonna switch over to another game in the future here, for Hades. But before we get to all that, what I want to do is read a bunch of the lore in that, like all these screens and stuff that we haven't gone through. I kind of want to really go in depth and read everything about it and what we've unlocked and everything. Could we unlock it all at the end? I guess. So could this wait till the end? I guess. But I kind of want to like go through all of it like now as midway, because we've made it to the end. We made it to the end in the last episode. And like I said, I kind of want to take a breather from Hades for a little bit. It's just been getting a little redundant on me. I want to keep going. It's like the part I'm having an issue with is I want to just do like 10, 20 more runs. And I need to slow down because I still want to like read your guys' comments and everything while I'm doing it. So I thought this would be a good way to switch it up, do a different game for a little bit, and then come back with a fresh mindset, and also kind of to like understand all of this different lore that we have here. So this is probably going to be, as you can see, we got a lot of stuff to go through. So it's going to be a little bit of a longer video, I think, and that's okay. That is a-okay. So to start, let's go through and let's read about, I'm going to save these guys, our main characters. I'm going to save them a little bit, maybe for last, maybe not. Maybe we should start with them. I don't know. I'm going to start with the Olympian gods. We're going to go, because I really want to talk about the Olympian gods, because it would seem cool. So Zeus, the master of the heavens, god among gods. So much of my mortal life was impacted by him, and now, even in death, I serve his brother. I do not think that I have much to say for the Lord Zeus, which is not widely known already. Once he overthrew the Titans, his own ancestors, to wrest control of all the heavens and the earth. Yet he presides as ruler over all. Lord Hades bears no love for him, for reasons I can scarce begin to contemplate. It is as though Lord Hades chooses willingly to not consort with the Olympians. Interesting. Okay. So, so first of all, the one writing these says they serve his brother? Wait, so, wait, because isn't the record keeper, like, Hypnos or something? Or no? So Hypnos is writing this and he serves Hades, which is his brother? I don't know, maybe it's Hypnos, it could be us. I don't think it's us, though. Huh. The master of the seas, the Earthshaker, brother to the Lord Hades and Lord Zeus. The Lord Poseidon, I am ever grateful that while I was living, he was merciful to me. Down here, however, I must say I rarely feel his influence. All of us. We are beneath him now. How many of my brethren did he drown during my mortal days? He comes across as affable, yet I've not forgiven him. Lord Hades seems to have no love for him either, equating him to Zeus and shunning both alike. It's all a business best avoided, by my estimation. Huh. Alright. Well, apparently business, it's the family business, apparently, to ignore these guys, so it's just what Hades is doing as CEO of the underworld, you know. Okay. Alright. Interesting. So basically Hades is not really, like, talking with Zeus or Poseidon, from what we're gathering here. Athena. Of some things I am certain, and one of them is this, that there were many times during my mortal life when my spear found its mark thanks to Pallas Athena. She favors those of disposition such as mine, and I would like to think her efforts keep the violent lusting of Ares, her half-brother, well in check. Okay, interesting. So, this character writing about Athena thinks highly of her. That's cool. And it's also interesting that there's stuff with Athena and Ares. We haven't seen that, but I think that's because I've been focused on like all the other gods and getting their boons. Especially like once we unlocked getting Demeter's boons, I was like, oh, this is so cool, this is great, and I wanted to get Demeter like all the time. So I kind of was not getting Athena or Ares' boons really. I've been trying to focus on the other gods because I think I like their effects. But maybe we'll have to look into that in the future because I'd like to know more about that. Athena and Ares. That'd be cool. Oh, we'll go down to Aphrodite. Aphrodite wields her beauty and her charm with much the same lethality as I could wield with a spear. Ooh, that's scary. I have seen her handiwork firsthand, and it is often not as pretty as she is. I sometimes think that she, among all the Olympians, may be the mightiest of all. A crashing wave or thundering tempest are preferable to a broken heart. Wow, that says a lot. You're not wrong. That's kind of scary when you can wield your charm as a weapon. That's a pretty threatening opponent, you know. But it's not wrong. Oh, there I go again, hitting the wrong thing. Artemis, art. Oh, we got entry complete. We've seen Artemis enough times. Like hers is just done. Nice. The goddess of the hunt has always held my highest admiration. Unlike so many of her brethren on Olympus, she seems unconcerned with being praised at every turn by mortals, and instead she dutifully holds her station as master of the natural world. Even Lord Hades may hold some respect for her, I think. Certainly her power is responsible for no small quantity of shades in this domain. Lord Hades and the Lady Artemis have certain traits in common. I suppose each solitary and committed to their work. If only my Lord Hades understood that someone such as Artemis could be someone to confide in, rather than resent along with all the others on Olympus. Oh, okay. That's interesting. So apparently Artemis is actually held in some sort of esteem, even down here with Hades. That's kind of cool. So I know that maybe that was a good thing we got close to Artemis then? Maybe Artemis can help us with Hades? Maybe? Hey, Art, help us out. Help us out. Alright, well, let's move on to Ares. Although my heart has long since stopped, it yet holds love in it for all the gods save one. The one who made and ruined me as well. Oh, okay. So that's probably a big clue to who's writing this, but I don't know Ares' full story, so I'll have to look into that before next time. I have no kind words to impart to him, except perhaps in form of this concession. War, much like the heavens and the sea, can be considered as a force of nature. It keeps men down. They shall never grow too plentiful this way, or near as mighty as the gods. Huh. Again, someone that I haven't talked with a bunch, so I haven't like gotten a lot of his boons, so we don't know much about Ares, really. So I guess we'll find out more. And apparently whoever's writing this was downfalled by Ares. Oh no. And I was hoping to get Ares on that last run that we did, because Ares is the only one I haven't given a little nectar to. Oh no! We'll get you here soon, Ares. Hang in there. Dionysus. Oh wow, that's surprising we don't have more. But I think he just hasn't shown up as much as some of the other gods, like Artemis has just like shown herself to us a lot, and Dionysus and Dio were just, it wasn't like there as much, even though I like chose them a bunch. Perhaps I ought to feel a kinship with this easygoing son of Zeus, for it is said that he has some mortal blood in him, not just divinity. This may explain why he, among Olympians, is so well loved by mortal kind, because he loves them back, bringing them more joy than suffering, for the most part. All that alcohol going through there, all the alcohol that Dio is like sharing with everybody. That's how it goes, huh? Hermes, one of the free-spirited sons of Zeus. He is patron to travelers, traders, even tricksters. Useful in sprint and appearance, he could be mistaken for a common lad, if not for his extraordinary swiftness. None whom I know approach his agility or athleticism. He puts this peerless skill to a specific use, serving as a messenger of Olympus. Vast distances are nothing to him, yet there is something more to Hermes. He is the only god upon Olympus who dutifully serves the underworld, in addition to his Olympian affairs. Oh, interesting. So he serves both the underworld and Olympian affairs. I Was that mentioned somewhere? Was that mentioned anywhere up to this point? I don't think it was. Huh. Or maybe it was, but I just never picked up on it, that he was serving both Olympians and the underworld. Huh, that's interesting. I mean, honestly, with the story and all, maybe we should talk with Hermes, because if he's able to go underworld and Olympus and everything and be fine, like, maybe we should talk to him, because maybe he'll help us out in being alright for longer. You know? Alright. Demeter. Or Demeter? Demeter? I think it's Demeter. Over time, mortals have come to fear great Demeter, eldest of Olympians, goddess of seasons, bringer of plenty, and taker away of it. I cannot imagine she is moved by any of their offerings. Much is said of her in hushed tones, not unlike the ones reserved for the master here. Once she administered her gifts of sustenance with generosity, until some stroke of fate befell. She changed, and has never been giving since. The mortals who once prayed to her for plenty now beg mostly for mercy. Wow, that feels like it should almost end there. Jeez, that's just like a blurb in itself. Man, although that, I feel like that describes Demeter very well with how she's acted, at least with us, up to that point. Just kind of not being like cruel to humanity or humans or just anybody in general, just like restrained, like really held back with what she does. Like, they're asking for mercy, but it's not like she's dishing out like rude stuff to everybody. She's just like not helping. So that's interesting. And she's also the last one to get and the last one to jump in to help Zagreus, so that's another thing to note. Alright, so we got others of note. Oh, we have an undiscovered. I didn't notice we have an undiscovered way at the bottom. Huh. Okay. I see no reason to regale you with stories of my past. Suffice it that I fought as bravely as I could alongside many of the finest men the world has ever known. I buried far too many of them and sent many others to this place, where now at last we all are peers. I am fortunate the master of the house took pity upon me and spared me from eternal boredom in Elysium, with an existence closer to the times when I still lived and had a job to do. Okay, so actually it said it right here. It looks like Achilles is writing all of these. Alright. Alright. I'll take it. Didn't he give us the codex in the first place? So that would make sense. Huh. Alright, well, what about Orpheus? No one sings a sweeter, sadder song than Orpheus, who, if I'm to understand correctly, is among the only mortals who at once ventured down into the underworld and returned to tell the tale. He now resides among us permanently, ever mournful of what could have been. The master seems to take some pity on him, though, or simply likes his songs. He serves as a court musician in the house. Well, he serves as court musician in the house, or maybe like Hades does like his songs, but we haven't heard him play a single song. Maybe it's because I haven't unlocked him or something, and you're supposed to unlock a song and then he'll play them, but I don't know. I don't really know. Most of those who earn the highest form of punishment in Tartarus committed acts I hesitate to commit to the page, though Sisyphus is an exception to the rule. He earns the Fury's lashes for the crime of having once outsmarted the Lord Hades. A cheated death. Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't even think that was the reason of his punishment, I guess. I forgot the whole reason for what he did. I know what ended up happening to him, but I didn't realize. I forgot the reason he cheated death. A reckless plan, although he executed it and bought himself a little extra time, though now he pays for it, heaving that boulder constantly. Okay, wait. So Sisyphus, this is hilarious. So Sisyphus cheated death and got to live a little longer. Orpheus went to the underworld, technically should have died, and didn't, and came back to life, and he is given a nice position in the house to be the musician. That's so weird. It's like endless torture and then lots of praise. Huh, between these two. Although maybe for Orpheus, maybe it is endless torture. I mean, because they were taken away from Eurydice. Eurydice? Eurydice? I don't remember. That's bad. We'll have to see more. Mortality and immortality are closer than most gods care to believe. There are such minor gods as can be killed. So it is with nymphs, and all the naiads, and the dryads, and the like. The spirit of the woods, and the seas, and the skies. In life, they captivate our mortal senses and imaginations, but in death, we're all more alike. Huh, okay. I never thought about it, but I guess she is a dryad. Because I always wondered, I'm like, why does she have like a tree or something? Is that like part of like her story or something, or what? And it's like, no, she seems more like either a dryad or like it says in the beginning, like a minor god or something like that. Huh. But if a minor god could be taken out and sent to the underworld and killed, and then restrained for eternity, couldn't a major god still be killed and sent to eternity? No? No? Magic Gathering? Theros? No? No? Okay, moving on. Okay, we don't know much of him, and we've only seen him like what, twice, maybe 3 times. Forgive me, it's not my place to say much of him now. Ooh, so he still remains a mystery to us. I guess we'll have to find out more later. And it looks like I think since we don't see him too often, I definitely want to save a nectar for him if we can. All right, on to Theseus. Oft called the greatest king of Athens, the hero Theseus is nonetheless best known for his deeds earlier in life. Deeds great enough to earn his immortal soul a place of high honor in hallowed Elysium. I mean, as champion to dying to Zagreus 100 times. Yeah, okay, I can't say much because I think we've died more to him than he's died to us. It's kind of sad. But still. Learn more by vanquishing Theseus. That's funny. Oh, wow, we got a lot more to say about Asterius. Cool. In life, the wretched abomination known as the Minotaur was feared across the coast of Greece. Those cast into the labyrinth in which he himself was trapped had no hope of escape. Wow, I never thought about that, like, if you think about it, like, the position the Minotaur was in, because the Minotaur is stuck in the labyrinth and cannot get out forever. But the whole thing is, like, you think you get trapped in with the Minotaur and you're the one who's about to die to the Minotaur, but really the Minotaur is just trying to find a way out as well and just trying to survive. Maybe that's the way of survival, is taking out those who enter. Anyways, that was until the young hero Theseus entered the labyrinth voluntarily and slew him in what was, by most accounts, a spectacular battle, a famous tale. But what happened when they reunited in death needs to be told as well. Oh, sorry, I read that so wrong. But what happened when they reunited in death needs to be told as well. Here, they say Theseus again discovered the Minotaur, whose soul had lingered restlessly at the edge of the underworld, and Theseus took pity on him. Though, I think there is more to it than that. I think there is too. I feel like there's more to it than just that. There's got to be more about that story. Like I said, maybe Theseus was like all alone in that and just like had to suffer on his own, and then maybe Asterius like gets him or something, or maybe Theseus gets Asterius. I don't know. Maybe they're similar in some way like that. Usually catch on to similarities or something. I don't know. I guess we'll move on and keep seeing what we gotta say. Cerberus! The fearsome multi-headed hound of hell is really not so bad as as his deserved reputation otherwise would lead you to believe. Although it's funny, he's saying like, oh, it's not so bad, but it is a deserved reputation, so it does make sense. I'm like, huh. Yes, this massive beast has feasted on no short supply of interlopers to the underworld, or on those attempting to escape. However, tales of the number of his heads are oft exaggerated, and in his old age, his temperament has grown much more relaxed. Indeed, he seems one of the sole sources of comfort for the house's grim master. Oh, wow. Okay, so that's always why Zagreus and, like, Hades are fighting over Cerberus, kind of, like, Zagreus is giving him so many pets, and Zeus is like, don't do that, boy. And you're like, why not? Whatever, I'm gonna leave. And then in reality, Zeus is like, because he's my boy. he's my pet. This is my pet, Cerberus. Hades has a soft spot for Cerberus. Oh, we all knew it. That's cool. Dusa. A splendid house such as the master's own requires a great deal of cleaning, and the little Gorgon seems forever doomed to do it all herself. I sometimes offer my assistance, although it is here the little Gorgon bares her fangs, refusing any help. Oh, wow. That I can clearly see my own reflection in our polished countertops. Suggests she doesn't need it either. Dusa's just awesome. Dusa, like, from that blurb, Dusa's just awesome. She's just, like, so cute, so nice, so nervous, but just, like, you feel like there's so many tasks that are being given to her, and she just, like, takes it. Like, to think of a big house like that, like, the House of Hades, it has to be, like, huge, enormous, insane, and you're just a floating head Gorgon, and somehow you get to clean it all, and you're able to do it all. Like, that's amazing. I think that's great. Dusa's, like, fantastic. Skelly! The animated skeleton and I, we seldom get along. He is too talkative for me, and sprouts such simple condescensions to all those who in earshots, seemingly as though he were an expert in the ways of war. I disapprove of his reckless advice, and am uncertain as to who he was in life, to be self-assured in death. I am uncertain as to why he is even here. It is quite odd the master does not seem to know of him at all. Huh. Nevertheless, I sense that there is naught to fear from him, and I have to confess, I admire the optimism with which he carries out his task of simply standing at attention, being beaten, often mercilessly, all for the martial training's sake. Huh. I guess I never really thought about that. Oh, wow. Jeez. Okay. Because, like, I didn't even think. We don't know what he looks like or anything, or what. Like, Skelly is just, like, an unknown factor. Like, he did die. Was a person, I guess. Maybe a minor god? I don't know. But now he's just, like, getting beaten up all the time. But then whenever Zagreus or us, we ask him about what's he doing here, like what was your past like, or like why don't you just like do something else? He says, nope, I don't need to tell you any of that. But he's like open with any other conversation he will talk your head off. But when it comes to his own personal background or his like stuff, he doesn't talk. A mystery, huh? All right. I guess I'll have to find out more. The Underworld. All right, so now we'll talk about, I guess, some of the places in the Underworld. So we got the House of Hades. Having been appointed by the... I guess before I get into the Underworld, we still have one undiscovered character. I wonder who that could be. Since these are others of note, I don't think I could place a guess, because this could be, like, almost anybody, because, like, there's so many different characters right here on just this list. It's like, I have no idea. I have no idea who that last one could be, but it's right next to Skelly, so I'm wondering if it's Skelly's past or something? Maybe it's connected to that, and they were treated as two separate characters? Probably not. Maybe I'm going way off on that. I don't know. We're gonna continue, I guess. So, House of Hades. Having been appointed by the Fates to reign beneath the earth for eternity, the Master was awarded a permanent place of residence at the base of his domain, in addition to a wide variety of responsibilities to the dead. Oh, wow. Well, it's like, hey, here, you get to be here by yourself, and by the way, it's like a promotion. It's all good and everything. Yeah, so you're going to get to do less work. Here's all your responsibilities. I've only heard tales of Olympus and its glorious heights, its shining columns, its feasts. The House of Hades, I imagine, must be more or less the opposite in every front. The Master spares no kind words for his family's mountain's abode, and notes instead the many ways in which his house is far more functional, superior even. Okay, interesting. Huh. Well, alright then. I guess we'll just take that at what it is. Move on to Tartarus. I just like rolling the R, it's fine. The lowest reaches of the underworld are reserved not just for the Master's own abode, but for the benefit of every wretch who, in the course of drawing breath, failed every opportunity to leave any sort of positive impression behind. Tartarus is one of the Master's most elaborate designs, constructed not just to contain the wretched deed, but to oppress them, to punish them. The Master has no pity for wretches here. He would say they had their chance, and knew the risks of leading hateful lives. Wow. Wow. So it's kind of like Hades isn't a bad guy for like trying to torture everybody and like wanting people to come to the underworld. He's like, no, 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 you did like bad stuff and like cruel person. No, you're coming down here and you're getting We don't have any of that here. You're good if you're down here in Tartarus. Like, yeah, I know you did some not great stuff and you should know better. Like that's kind of interesting. But I mean, like again, that comes up with like circumstances of everybody and like how you grew up and everybody's background is completely different from one another and like the upbringing changes who you are as a person and all that kind of stuff. So like that brings us with that question too. But apparently Hades does not care for that. He just says, "Oh well, if you're here, shouldn't have done what you did, and that's why you're here." Wow. Among the many reasons it is best for mortals to strive to treat each other reasonably well is that after having lived their short lives, they may wind up stuck with one another for eternity in the meadows of Asphodel. Yikes. I kind of want to say like Eurydice, but Eurydice didn't end up with Orpheus. She just ended up alone, not together. So that's kind of sad. Like, you have to spend your whole life in Asphodel. It's terrible. It's awful. It's said it's awful and terrible. But then you're still not together. That sucks even worse. Wow. Okay. Elysium. Some mortals surely would wish to live forever if only they could. Though for the sensible ones, spending an eternity in the fields, Elysium would be their foremost choice. To be forever in that beautiful place together with only the greatest souls to have ever lived. So basically that's like their version of heaven, I guess. Of kind of like it's supposed to be like the best thing in the world or whatever. It's like the good place to go to. You want to end up in Elysium. It's still considered in the underworld, but it's still a very nice place. I guess so. I mean, that's everything we've seen there. It sounds like they're all treated nice from everything we've seen in the game so far, so, huh. I mean, okay, now what I also wonder is Styx, then. Styx seems like on a higher level, so you think it'd be nicer, but let's see what it says. Despite the infamy of the river Styx among surface-dwelling, still-breathing mortals, the river is not found on any map. Mortals agree it is best to discover where the river Styx originates only when brought there. Oh, yeah, so Styx is kind of like the connection to the underworld and that. I forgot. Duh, it's like the river of Styx and that. Yeah, okay, yeah, gotcha. Alright, well, then we have another place. Chaos. There must be some place even darker, even deeper than the lowest depths of Tartarus. Even Tartarus sprang forth from somewhere else. From chaos. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Alright, well, before we make it up to the overworld, there's an undiscovered place. You guys were talking to me, we were talking about in the comments of saying, yes, we know there is somewhere in between the world above and the underworld. There's another medium area that we haven't discovered. So I know there's chaos, but that's interesting that we made it to the river Styx, but then there's chaos and then undiscovered, then Greece. So I feel like that's actually kind of how it's layered. You make it to the House of Hades, which is at the very bottom, and then you work your way up, or I guess in this case, down, since we're going down the list. But there's this undiscovered area in between. So I wonder what that could be, that other area. I think we saw like a hint of it last time. So maybe we'll get a chance to see that later. We'll see. We'll see. All right, Greece. I was born in a land with next to nothing in common with the underworld, save for the fact that it happens to contain the surface's single entryway into this realm. That is reason enough for me to mention it here. Greece, as I remember it, was a vast, moody, beautiful country, and I am told both that there are many others like it, and none that compare. I can believe it either way, I think. Alright, well, that's cool. That's cool to think about like that. There's like so many other places that like none can compare to like are they saying none can compare to Greece? I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of areas in the world that like none can compare to, and it's true. Like you can't compare them to each other. It doesn't mean they're on like higher levels than each other. They're just like you can't compare it. It's just like on an uncomparable level to each other. So that's cool. All right, Infernal Arms. The Stygian blade? We'll go with that, sure. Stygius, the blade of the underworld, must have been among the finest weapons ever wielded back when it was whole. Back when the 6 elder gods sealed the Titans in the deepest recesses of Tartarus. Oh. That blade evidently played no small role in their succession. It must have been Lord Poseidon who brandished that blade before he opted for that trident he likes. So now the blade lies broken, survived only by its burning soul. I knew that Master Hades would pay little heed if I provided all the shattered remnants of the thing to his son, who naturally was able to reconstitute them into something more than functional indeed. Oh, okay, so this was an actually, like, epic blade, and then it got shattered and broken because of the battle with the 6 elder gods, the Titans, that are now in the edges of Tartarus. But after being broken, it was handed over to Zagreus, who ended up getting them all back together. Either back together or forged differently in a different way. But that's kind of cool. So this is kind of... So I guess in a way, this is kind of like his blade. This is like Zagreus' blade. It's his weapon. So maybe we should end up using it more. We'll see. The Eternal Spear. It must have been a sight when Lord Hades wielded Varatha, the Eternal Spear, versus the Titans, driving back those fiends into the depths together with the help of his Olympian brothers and sisters. The Master since has traded in that terrifying weapon for an even larger 2-pronged fork he likes to brandish and threat, noting sometimes its superiority to the trident of Lord Poseidon, which he insists is a mere copy. That's funny. Varatha, meanwhile, has seen better days, but it is a weapon built for war, and a war shall always find it, I suspect. After all, it now lies in the hands of the Lord Hades' heir, in whose command it much resembles the 2-pronged fork Lord Hades came to favor. Since that time, father and son are much alike, at least in this. Huh. That's interesting. Well, I did favor it for a while, but then health thing got in the way, and I kind of didn't do well with it, and I needed to turn it off, even though I really liked it. So let's move on to the Heart-Seeking Bow. Coronacht, the so-called Heart-Seeker, is certainly the finest bow ever conceived and wielded once by none other than Mistress Hera, who stood side by side with Zeus, on better terms back then, as they drove back the Titans under a storm of arrows and thunder. Hera since abandoned her once warlike ways, quite understandably, for she has greater matters to attend to now. However, Coronacht yet yearns for further bloodshed, that it shall find in the hands of Lord Hades' own son, whom I taught the ways of such weapons. I have distaste for the bow, it must be said, for it was by the bow that my own life was ended early in a manner of debatable glory. May it serve the prince better than it served me. Wow, that's a way to say it. And thinking about it, these three all talked... Okay, so basically over here we have an undiscovered area. And then over here we have 3 weapons that are mentioning the banishing of the Titans. That doesn't sound like a small coincidence or like just general lore of like mythology. It seems like that's actually like we mentioned, this is our first time talking about Hera. I mean, come on, Zeus, Hera together, like their thing, they're known for that, but this is our first time knowing of her. In this context from the game Hades and anything of Greek mythology. And there's a lot of other stuff that's just talked about, but these 3 all talked about the Titans that were shoved away. So like I said, I don't know all my Greek mythology, but if these other 3 weapons talk about that, we might have some things on our hands here. We might be seeing these Titans at some point. Aegis, the shield of chaos, is descended from the very Aegis wielded by Lord Zeus and by Athena, his most favored daughter. The Lord of Thunder defended his brothers and sisters using that very shield when together they conspired to drive the Titans back in the lowest reaches of the underworld. The shield was shattered, yet a burning effigy remains, its power still intact. A power sealed within a visage of a monstrous entity even the Titans feared. Its might is uncontrollable, and it scarce functions as a manner of defense. Instead, its writhing maw augments its wielder's might, shattering bone and solid rock with little effort and considerable zeal. Okay. I confess that I had to look away from it. The family of weapons used it to end the Titan War. The other members of it seem almost alive in their own way. But there is no almost about this. It instills in me a feeling I would rather leave unnamed. May the next bearer of Aegis meet it on agreeable terms. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Well, sorry for, like, just stabbing in the middle there, but I was just surprised. It's like, it scarce functions as a manner of defense. It's actually an offense. Of course, shields were made as an offensive weapon. They were made as a defensively offensive weapon for mainly the offense. It's like making a weapon that shields you so that you can do more damage. You don't have to worry about your health bar. That's like why those were made, so that you don't have to worry about getting killed, and you can just like bull rush down, which is coincidentally one of the things you do with it, bull rush. Well, moving on to the Twin Fists. What is a weapon, if not extension of one's will to survive, to destroy? The ancient Cyclopean forge masters who created the infernal arms in accordance with the Fates' designs must have understood this when they delivered the singular twin fists of Malphon in secret to the gods. Any other weapon must be held in hand, but Malphon bonds with its bearer utterly, engulfing them with primal strength and alacrity. It is said even the Olympians hesitated to embrace the twin fists until Lady Demeter, her hands accustomed to tilling the land, stepped forward and accepted the gift. Whoa, really? Wow, I didn't even like realize. Is that like an aspect that we can get for the twin fists? Because I didn't even like put that together. Whoa. Demeter used the twin fist? Like, but she seems like such... With the staff and just how she is, she seems more like a mage or something, not like a let's beat you up with my fists. Man, what is this? Fire Emblem Three Houses or something? Jeez, okay. But that one didn't talk about the Titans, so I'm kind of curious about that. But I don't know how the Adamant Rail could talk about the Titans either, but we'll see here. Least known among the gods who stood together to dispose the Titans is the Lady Hestia, reclusive goddess of the hearth, and a one-time wielder of the Exegryph, the Rail of Adamant, an artifact of metal and flame so dreadful that the gods themselves abandoned it once their fell work was done. The Rail has a form and function to befit one's nightmares, while other weapons of the gods inspired mortal counterparts. I am relieved to say the Rail's cruel design has not yet been discovered in a stroke of mortal inspiration to conduct their wars. Let us pray for their sake that it never shall, for now its secrets remain trapped within the darkest regions of the underworld, along with the remains of the Titans defeated by it. Okay, so maybe I just haven't beaten up enough guys or something with the Twin Fist for them to talk about the Titans, but every other one talked about the Titans. We're gonna see the Titans. There's just, like, come on. That has to be something. That has to be. I'm, like, mega curious now about that. Alright, well, let's continue on, I guess, because that was an interesting little piece there. Alright, well, we got all these enemies. We got a lot of enemies to go through. I might save that for its own, or since there's so many of these entry complete on these guys, and it's not going to take us like a bunch of times to go through. It might take us like a couple runs to go through and we'll have them all. Maybe it'd be best to wait on these guys. So I think that's what we're going to do, is we're going to wait on the enemies. Mainly because there's so many of them, and two, because there's a bunch that are just like entry complete, so we might as well just like finish it, you know? Alright. Artifacts. Darkness. Born of the chaos, the underworld is a domain of pure and utter darkness. Sometimes this dark essence becomes manifest through all the raging of the dead and all the strife that can unfold beneath the earth. And there are those born of this realm who can absorb that essence, gaining oneness with the underworld, growing stronger all the while. Like us, like Zagreus, that's what we do. Alright, bloodstones. Learn more by collecting bloodstones. Okay, so I guess I need to use that a lot more. The world itself is alive in a way, is it not? Yeah. Even the realm of the dead, all of us here, the underworld with it, we flow through time as blood flows through mortal veins. Look carefully, and you shall find that there is power feeling in the earth itself, and like any power, it seeks to be claimed, to be held. With all this in mind, as well as due appearance, I suppose, do bloodstones take their name. Huh. Alright, I can see that. The Infernal Trove. Okay, I'm curious why this is here and right there, too. That's kind of interesting to see that. Though the Master is best known for presiding over this vast realm of death beneath the earth, he has another preoccupation, wealth, riches, and the like. Perhaps for its own sake. Or perhaps as a measure of how effectively he oversees his domain. Yeah, this is all he hoards. This is his salary for being CEO of the underworld that he keeps. Everywhere you look, this wealth is fully on display. It is so plentiful here that the Master has taken to storing some of it throughout the realm, safely secured in well-protected troves. Any tampering causes the contents to begin to transfer beyond reach, while shades in the Master's service tend to the matter. Okay. Alright, so yeah, it's basically like where he keeps all his monies that he has accumulated. He gets an infernal trove with every salary payment. I don't know. Charon's Obel. The underworld is best known of the domain of death, but it is also the domain of countless wealth and riches sent into the river Styx, along with the deceased. Here, the purpose of such coin is mostly symbolic, but there are those who value it in a manner of more traditional, especially the boatman, Charon. Huh. Well, I guess if we collect more of Charon's Obel, we will find out more about that, because I'd love to actually know more about that. And why Charon? Why is Charon the only one who really, like, cares about it the most? Is there a reason behind that? Or is it just, like, I don't know. But the interesting thing, it's also labeled specifically Charon's Obel. So it's like his type of coin? I don't know. It's weird. The Centaur Heart. The equine centaurs are known for their unlimited endurance, and although their reign has long since passed the mortal realm above, their resolve lives on within the underworld. Here, their vital essence is encased in still beating vessels, which bestow the centaur's power to the wielder. Whether any centaurs yet remain alive to claim these artifacts, it is as yet unclear. Huh, alright. Palm of Power. There is not much to eat here in the underworld. Conventionally speaking, the pomegranate is a rare exception, having made its way down to the depths, perhaps alongside the Lord Hades himself, when he first came to this realm eons ago. Here, this blood-red fruit holds something of a terrifying power. At times, it's called a window to Olympus, for in its acrid morsels, we can almost see the hallowed mountaintop, and we grow closer to the gods who there reside. Huh. Interesting. So the pomegranate is also like something of the underworld in that. Huh. It just kind of makes me think of like the apple of knowledge in that from the tree of knowledge or whatever in like biblical stories. So it's kind of interesting how that like they like roped that in here with the pomegranate, because that's what it's thought that quote unquote apple of knowledge, or the apple from the tree of knowledge was like a pomegranate. Some people believe that. I mean, like, there's no way for us to know, but we could try. But that's interesting that would connect with Hades' first coming here to the underworld as well. So Palm of Power. Let's move on to the Diadus Hammer. The master artisan called Diadus has never known a peer, so it is little accident that the Lord Hades hand selected him from all the shades residing in the underworld to do his bidding for eternity, and for a hallowed place within Elysium somewhere, having designed the interlocking chambers all through Tartarus, and even the floor plan of the Lord Hades' house, Daedalus since discarded his own tools, so that now others may make careful changes fitting of a genius such as he. I thought they were just like randomly strewn about because Daedalus was lazy and just moved on to the next project or whatever. Not like, oh, I'm just done with this. I'm just like not using any of these. Here, you guys have them. And just like randomly like tossed them about. I thought they were like forgotten. Huh. Oh, interesting. We actually have one undiscovered artifact too. Huh. Alright, well, chthonic keys. Certain artifacts within the realm of Hades have been sealed under lock and key to prevent tampering by those not yet prepared to harness their immeasurable might. Those keys, or so they appear, are not so easy to procure, but there are ways. The keys lie strewn within Tartarus, perhaps beyond. They seem as though composed of the shadows themselves and disintegrate first into dust, then nothingness. At all when used. Perhaps that dust merely reforms into another key somewhere, some other time. That's an interesting way of thinking of that. And it's cool. It's like there's a set number of keys in the world, but every time you use one, it disintegrates and it moves somewhere else. So it's like a Dragon Ball, except you don't have to like collect a bunch to use them. You just like get one and then you just like use it and then it goes away. Huh. Maybe like that. Titan blood, deep within the unfathomable pits of Tartarus lies the remains of the Titans, who once ruled all between heaven and earth. Few traces yet remain of them due to the thoroughness with which they were dispatched in the war waged by their offspring, the gods who now reside upon Olympus. Yet those scarce traces do exist, and a terrible power rests within. See, there's another thing to like that leans towards the Titans. I forgot. There's an item called the Titan's blood. I mean, so does that mean they're around or something, or what? Like, it's just so weird. It's just so weird. I feel like there's more there. I feel like there's more there with that. But thinking about it in the perilous foes, like, I don't know. Are these just like common enemies, or does this include? It doesn't look like it includes. It does include like Bone Hydra and bosses and stuff, so maybe. Well, okay, so it just includes the Bone Hydra. Okay, so maybe we won't see the Titans, but I don't know. It's just really fishy. I feel like it's really fishy that we talk so much about the Titans and the Titans like exist somewhere, and you might like end up finding them on accident, and then there not be enough information in our little journal for that. Maybe, I don't know. Huh? Gemstones. Mortals cherish these stones of many brilliant colors, going to the lengths to excavate them from the earth, to steal them, to be blunt, from the rightful domain of Master Hades. The Master also values them, for light exists in limited supply down here, and the light reflected through a gemstone's facets is most valuable of all. I could definitely see that, yeah. I mean, if there's darkness everywhere, but a gem can like reflect a bunch of light and like make it brighter in that way, yeah, that'd be nice. The merest glimpse of such dazzling display can spur a loathsome shade to action in the Master's name, and thus has Master Hades found within his realm a naturally occurring motivator for whatever must be done. Interesting. So he's like, oh, if you pay me with gemstones, like, I'll do this for you or something, and then people want like those reprieves or whatever that Hades would give out. Oh, okay, so it made a currency of some sort, in a way. Diamonds. Amongst the hardest, most bedazzling of substances born underneath the earth, the diamond nonetheless has somewhat of a stately manner. Colorless and stoic next to all the multicolored stones with which it coexists, but what it arguably lacks in outward beauty, it makes up for with its uses in the sprawling industry of the death which Master Hades oversees. Huh, alright. That's pretty cool. So it's interesting that he's interested in the gemstones, but not like the diamonds. Kind of interesting. Alright. The drink, so nectar, the drink of the gods, is one of the underworld's most sought-after delicacies, and truly perhaps one of the only sources of genuine lightness here within this realm. Well, there's not much to say on these yet. I guess I haven't collected enough of these really yet by this time, but that's okay. We'll get some more going. But it's right next to ambrosia, which now, like, I didn't notice until a little bit further on, like, the ambrosia looks like nectar, but it's like nicer nectar maybe? Mortals must regularly nourish themselves with food and drink merely to stave off death. The gods of Olympus have no such fear and consume only for the sake of tradition or revelry. They have access to all the splendors and delicacies of the world has to offer, yet they favor one in particular, and only very rarely does it make its way down here into this realm. Alright. So ambrosia is very rare. Alright, so it's not like the other stuff. Alright. River denizens. We haven't unlocked a ton of these guys, so I don't really want to read them, but since we haven't unlocked a ton, maybe it'd be fun to, like, lightheartedly talk about those before we go into other stuff. Wait, 1, 2, 3. I know what these are. I know. Okay, well, hold on. I will tell you what I'm pretty sure these are after. Hellfish. From the looks of them, they must have once been stowaways on the outer hull of Charon's boat, affixing themselves just below the waterline, securing passage from the surface down into the depths via the river Styx. Having adapted to the river's blood-red waters here, they are now as common as undying shades, and seem very much content to have reached these depths. Okay, it's like we just want to go to the underworld. Why? Do you want to be dead? No, or just to chill. Knucklehead. My mother taught me countless water-dwelling denizens though of this variety. I learned much more only in the darkest Tartarus, their one sole habit being the deepest reaches of the river Styx. Okay. I don't think there's going to be much to say on these guys. Oh, well, entry complete on the crustacean. Apparently we've gotten enough of them. The armored heat-proof carapace of the crustacean makes it perfectly suited to quietly surviving, if not thriving, in the fire river slashing all the way across Asphodel. In the ocean waters, similar creatures serve as easy prey, but not this magma-loving variety, which tends to be left alone. Though some do swim up from the riverbed in search of companionship. Aw, that's cute. Oh, they're like, oh, I want a friend. Aw. We got clam. The common clam is plentiful with the misty waters of the river Lethe flowing through the hills and valleys of Elysium. Its shell most of the time is shut so tight it cannot be opened. Okay, I bet there'll be more on that one there'll be something witty to say once we catch a couple more. The Elysium carp seems to be the shade of the surface-dwelling fish, highly reminiscent of it, with similarly multicolored scales and a placid, almost contemplative temperament. Oh, okay. We got a gup. This is an altogether odd river creature which skirts the border between the surface and the underworld, likewise persisting in a state somewhere between life and death. Ooh, yikes. I don't know how I'd feel with that. Scuffer. Truly a bottom feeder of fish, the scuffer evidently is much more adventurous than... much more adventurous than the similar saltwater counterparts, as it dares to dwell in the waters of the river Styx, near the border, where the waters plummet down into the abyss. Huh. Alright. Well, we've got one more section to go through, and do I want to go through these at a different point? Yeah, but am I going to go... Because I want to unlock all the stuff and have more conversations and stuff. Learn more by discovering more of the story. So there's even more story. Well, who knows? Maybe I won't take a break from this then. If there's like just a bunch... If this is like normal to have a bunch of story. Hades. What is there to say about the Master? Master is not just of the house in which I work, but of the entirety of the domain beneath the earth, the place we all end up after we die. He is a god of character. I have to give him that. In life, I once served someone who reminded me of him a little, yet even the kingliest of mortals pales in comparison. Suffice it, then, to say that the Lord Hades takes matters of his fate-appointed underworld in utmost seriousness. CEO of the underworld, everybody. He is just the CEO of the underworld. Yeah. Yet his meticulous veneer gives way to impatience frequently enough, especially with his only son. This resentment extends to his never-ending work, for he presides over an endless procession of the dead. The master claims he alone can tend to their affairs, but grudgingly, I think, expects his son's support. Oh, so he wants his son in the family business, and his son is like, nope. Zagreus is like, I'm not. I'm going somewhere else, and so he really does want his help and stuff. Oh, he just wants to pass on the family business. That's kind of cool. All right, moving on. We got Nyx, Mother of Night, we like to call her. Though rare is the occasion when she dotes on us, she has her many, many children to look after, many of whom reside now in locales beyond my reckoning, and perhaps beyond hers. Yet nonetheless, she toils about the master's house and conducts such affairs that fail to reach his notice or gain his attention. Huh. So Hades is so focused on his work and his son that he doesn't really, like, notice or think too much about Nyx, but I think we've seen that in their squabbles that they've had. Zagreus. Take one look at him, and I think any questions of his parentage are soon resolved. He never seemed to like it much there, growing up within Lord Hades' well-appointed house. One day, I took him on as a disciple, under orders from Lord Hades. The master worried that his heir lacked any firm direction in his life, and indeed, Zagreus took well to the martial ways, and I am proud to say now that he was my student. He was not insubordinate with me, as was his reputation. Perhaps my own lack of decorum from back when I was at his apparent age made it easier for me to reach him. He learned quickly, exhibiting his father's strength and even greater dexterity. Oh, yeah. We had some good dexterity. That's really what got us through that fight, to be honest, was a lot of dexterity and movement, I feel like, and knowing what to do and how. Charon, the Stygian boatman, is a lot of things, although I am afraid he isn't much for conversation. I have tried, though perhaps not persuasively enough. I wonder where he finds the time to mill about, as sometimes he is prone. His duty as the shepherd of the recently deceased must keep him very busy overall, yet even he still finds time to collect trinkets and sell them back to us, for reasons only he could understand. See, I still wonder if there's more behind that with the Obel. I feel like there's something we're missing, or maybe there is something like that in mythology that I've never read before. I don't read a lot of mythology stuff, so like I wouldn't know. Hypnos. It is said that sleep is the cousin of death. That turns out to be not quite correct insofar as the two, in fact, are brothers, born to Nyx herself. The former of the two, we call him Hypnos, while he whiles away, half sleeping, watching over the pool of sticks in the foyer of the house, taking stock of those arriving in the master's domain, or returning to it. Though Hypnos may look lacking propriety, there we go, excuse me, I couldn't say that for some reason. He brings a certain cheer for sure, however unconventional, into the grim proceedings of the house. Thanatos, who we haven't actually seen too much of. Few gods traverse the boundary that divides the surface realm where dwell the living, and this one where dwell the dead. Thanatos, embodiment of death, is among those who such an authority and power. I feel like there's a lot more there, but we need to talk with Thanatos a bit more. Megara. The ancient Fury Sisters deal retribution for eternity against all those whose lives unspeakably befouled the lives of others. They each seem to relish their grim work, though none so much as Megara, the first among them. Her whip is very much notorious around these parts, and there are those who say she is more than my equal in the martial ways. A conjecture I see no reason to test. Oh yeah, we don't want to test that. Megara is pretty difficult. Without all our bonuses and stuff, it would have been hard to take her down. Electo. Each of the ancient Fury Sisters is preoccupied eternally with tormenting a certain swath of moral crime, and Electo enjoys the broadest swath of all, those who during their mortal days committed wrongful acts as a behest of their impulsive passions. Wow. Okay, yikes. Yikes. Okay. It's kind of just like scary to think of that for Electo, and Electo just enjoying it, but that's probably why she's not allowed in the house this time. Persephone, I think that's how it said. Among each of the Deathless Fury Sisters, the one known as Persephone is probably responsible for a particularly fearsome reputation they all share, both on the surface of the earth and here below. I really want to see more of her story, to be honest, because I don't, like, she doesn't say much. She just doesn't, so I'm, like, curious what else that we got to say for that. Alright, and finally, we've got Chaos. Even Nyx, our mother knight, comes from somewhere, even the Olympians above and Master Hades himself. Eternal though they are, they came onto this world after they, or their ancestors, sprang from the darkness of chaos. Here, within the underworld, we are closer to chaos than the mortals and the gods above, closer to that first long-forgotten primordial consciousness, oft forgotten now or believed dead and gone. Huh. So that was a lot to take in there. I know it was a lot of reading, so thank you for hanging in there for all the lore. If you enjoyed that, I'm glad. I think it's really cool in that. There's like a lot to say on all those. Now, I wanted to see... I thought there would be like something for these. I thought... No. Gods are there. No, I think we went through everything. I thought there would be like a place for like the relics and like little relic notes or something, but I guess not. Well, that is okay, I guess. There's not too much to do with that then. Yeah. So that's all, I guess, then. It raised a lot of questions for me, actually. Like, I'm very curious. Like, the fists, I was really surprised with Demeter. Like, oh, Demeter picked these up, or Demeter picked these up. And I'm assuming Demeter picked them up to fight off the Titans that they have here in the underworld. And then the other thing I noticed was that, and I took note of, other things to take note of in the others of note. In the enemy section, we do have the Bone Hydra. But I also noticed, not in the enemy section, we do have, like, we've got Theseus and Asterius, who are the bosses of those areas. And then in the Chthonic Gods, we also have Megara, Electo, and Persephone. So, with that being said, it kept noting about... like in here, especially in here, about how they sealed away the Titans, that there were 6 Titans sealed away. There are 6 weapons that they have right here. So I'm wondering, is this undiscovered section, like, I don't want spoilers or anything, so please don't post spoilers of if it is, isn't, or whatever, but I'm just making a guess for the future, so once we do find out. I'm guessing these are the Titans. These are the 6 Titans, is what I'm going to guess that those are, since it's undiscovered. And then the other thing that threw me off a bit was we have an undiscovered artifact, a couple undiscovered artifacts, which I'm betting are connected to the Titans. And then also we have an undiscovered area, which I'm assuming is the Titan area, which is also one of the things we need to unlock by getting more diamonds. Because if we get more diamonds, we can head off to the realm of... Sorry, I should have gone a little slower. Renovate. We can go to the realm of Erebus. Chambers may contain an Erebus gate. I'm assuming that's like a Titan gate or something. That's got to be what that is. So we got to get to 5 gems to get that Erebus gate. Man, I was talking about taking a break and everything, and now I'm just more curious and I want to find out. This is just like, I feel like this is just like a halfway point. I feel like now or like almost we just started this whole story almost. Like we got a bunch of story, but we don't have everything yet. So I'm kind of curious to see where all that goes now. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. It's fine. Well, with that, I guess I'll end off the episode because this was mainly just for the lore reading and that and everything. For future viewers, you'll probably be able to just see the next episode as it is. But for now, I might, man, with all that raises questions. Maybe I don't want to start the new series just yet. Maybe I want to actually like continue with this because I'm like, that just made me like mega curious for what in the world's going on here. What is happening between the gods, what they all like did, because it sounded like a bunch of them fought together to take these titans down. Maybe not everybody, or maybe some of them did and some of them were wielding different weapons and stuff. Oh, I mean come on, Aphrodite probably just wielded her charm. I mean, you can't put that into a weapon, can you? Can you put that in a weapon? Aphrodite, could we get your weapon, please? That would be nice. We'd be able to get out of the underworld much faster. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so it was really cool. If you watched all the way as far, thank you for watching. I think that was fun. Like I said, I'm probably going to go through the list again. I think what I'll probably do is, I don't know if I'll 100% everything. I always say, oh, I'm not going to 100%, but then I end up finding a way to make it happen anyways. Because now I'm really curious about all the lore in the game. And to get there, we're going to need a lot of nectars. Because I've only like scratched the surface with these guys by the looks of it. With these nectars. So we'll have to do some more with that. Oh, and I just realized also, I thought the relationship in the hearts were connected to, it's like someone's heart. Like I was thinking, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I was originally thinking like, oh, that's a lock. So maybe we need to progress far enough in the story or something, or give him like an ambrosia or something. And then we get to have one of these. Oh, not these. Dang it. This. There's these 6 locked things down here. There are 6 locked stashes. So my question is, with those, is, are those connected to, like, I thought those, originally, I guess I should say, originally I thought those were connected to, like, there would be one for Hades, probably one for, like, Nyx, like, people of the house, people who live in the house with prominence. So, like, it'd be, like, Hades, Nyx, Thanatos has seemed very prominent, Megara has seemed prominent, so it's, like, 4. And then like maybe one for Chaos, and then maybe one for like someone else. I don't know. It's just really interesting. Like Achilles maybe. I was just thinking it'd be something like that, but now I'm thinking it's probably has something to do with the Titans. So I guess stay tuned for more Hades. We might have that sooner than I thought. We may have Hades be coming back much sooner than I thought. I still might take a break. I might start a new series in the meantime and then just run this alongside it. I need to stop running more series. That's really what I need to stop doing because I keep running like 100 series next to each other because I want to show you guys every game. I want to like play all the games and like let's play everything with you guys. But it can get a little stressful when I do that. But by the same token, I really just want to do that because now I'm really curious about these Titans. So maybe I'll just take a week off and then we'll jump back into Hades. But yeah, thank you for watching the interlude. I hope you enjoyed this halfway point. And once we get all of this and put all the pieces together, finally, we can go through all of these as though they were all like this, where it says entry complete. And we can read all the complete entries in one place. I feel like that'd be cool to have just a reading of all those, including all the enemies as well, if I can make that happen, because some of these later ones it gets a little tricky to do because I have to make it all the way there and then I have to see enough of them and then do it enough times. But yeah, so with that, I will see you all next time.